Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of the MMA Huddle. You are joined by myself and always dapper, beautiful, handsome Will next to me. First off, let's kick off, Will, with saying hit that subscribe button, hit the button down below, subscribe, join in the conversation below. We love the feedback, the communication. We love people talking about the fights and the bets. Every week we try to reply back as soon as we can. Obviously with work, I can't always reply back as soon as I can, but I'll do as quickly as I can. Join the conversation below for people. Let us know who your picks are for this card. Let us know what you thought maybe of the UFC pay-per-view card last week. We've had Adesanya and Romero put on a stellar performance. And also, let us know what your bets are. So, Will, before we jump into this card, which is Kevin Lee against Charles Oliveira down in Brazil, let's talk about the last card. Obviously, I think JJ and Whaley need a bit of a rest, but as the main event goes, what were your thoughts on the main event?
It wasn't a great fight, obviously. Terrible fight. All that hype beforehand, and I was hyped for it. I thought Romero knew this. Like Dana White said, he probably knew this was his last kind of attempt at a world title shot, and he thought he'd maybe be a bit more aggressive, and he didn't. But I still think it was a chance he could have won that fight. Honestly, I thought Adesanya did what he had to in the end up. I think that eventually he had to start picking at him a little bit and just kind of stop the flurries. Not that there was all that many, but when he got pushed back and Romero was coming forward like a tornado at him, you don't want to be in that kind of like tornado in the middle of that where he's swinging everything. But he just didn't do enough. If he did it just a little bit more, he could have had his championship belt this week, going into this week. But I can see why people were kind of, especially coming off the co-main event, then you follow up with that, kind of takes a dampener off the event a little bit. But Adesanya, I thought, did what he had to do, and then you've got him and Costa, and you just know. I'll be surprised if Paulo Costa comes in and is not like aggressive at all. That's not Paulo Costa's way. He comes forward and swings, so that's going to be absolute fireworks wherever they put that on in the world. It's a fight I'm looking forward to seeing. But like I said, Adesanya, I think, did what he had to do and inevitably come out with his belt. So yeah,
it was smart. Yeah, it was fighting smart against the guy that, if you look at everyone who's fought Romero, they never come out unscathed. So Adesanya's probably coaches in that team realised that, so they just had a game plan they applied to it. And like you said with Costa, he's going to watch that fight and think, cool, I just need to keep going, pressing forward on Adesanya and just put that pressure on again, get him against the cage, so to speak, maybe, and throw barrage. Don't tell me you didn't notice, Will. It looked like Costa had eaten enough pork pies on his time off with that arm injury.
Yeah, he looked a massive dude. So if I'm him, I'm getting into kind of figure now and try and lose some of that weight and get yourself ready for Adesanya, because
exactly.
Adesanya's no joke. So
try and get on the beach. Try and get that beach body now, Costa. Eh?
You're not going to go up and tell him to lose weight, though, are you? Or call him anything bad under the sun, are you? You're going to
You can't understand me. You can't understand. There's a language barrier, of course. That's all it is. So uno, luso, waito, fato. There you go. Yeah, so we're going to kick off, ladies and gentlemen, on this beautiful card we got down in Brazil. Honestly, I am absolutely stoked for this card, Will. Absolute violence in abundance. Let's start at the bottom of the card. From what we have here, we use Wikipedia's layout of it, is Randa Marcos against Amanda Ribas. Will, break down the first fight, bro.
Yeah, like I say, Ribas, I think that they might have found something with this girl. I think that she could be someone they could really kind of pay some attention, like put some attention on in that division, and really you can see her kind of flummoxing and coming through the division. I think this is a matchup here. I thought they were doing the right thing by putting her with someone like a PVZ, with Paige Van Zandt, sorry. I thought that was something that the UFC was smart. Paige Van Zandt had one fight left on a contract, and then you put this girl down in Brazil against the kind of hot Brazilian girl at the minute, where she's coming off a win over kind of name in Mackenzie Dern, and she absolutely shut Mackenzie Dern out actually in that fight. So, and I did not see that coming. I bet Mackenzie Dern pretty handily in that fight, thinking that she'd just have a little bit too much in the feet, and with the jiu-jitsu I thought that she would completely just be kind of levels ahead, and once she got the fight there. But I was completely wrong in that case, and Ribas was just really, really good in that spot. Came through, looked good on the feet, would look quick with her hands. And then obviously you've got her jiu-jitsu, which I think is a strong point. She completely outworked Mackenzie Dern. She was just, like I say, far too quick and got some well-timed takedowns and just really stifled Mackenzie Dern. And people can say she was coming off having a baby and this and that. It doesn't matter. I think even if she didn't have the baby, I think Amanda Ribas just had her number. Then you obviously seen the Whitmire fight where if she gets the back at any opportunity, she's going to get you. She's going to get you back, and she's going to take you out, and she can do that. I think with Marcos here, we've seen that she can be controlled on the ground a little bit. We see, I think it was the what's the fight? The Angela Hill one, where she's actually got a bit of skill on the ground as well, so she's not like a fish out of water per se. But I think on the feet, I think she's going to be a little bit slower. I think she always gets hit. It's like every fight you see her nose always bright red, so she always gets jabbed up a little bit. But she's, like I say, she's one of those girls that kind of trades wins and losses. And she's coming off a win over Yoda, which was a pretty close split where she landed a lot of strikes. Her output was fairly high in that one, but got taken down. I think if she gets taken down with someone like Ribas, and Ribas gets into a dominant position, I think she finishes the fight. I think she can finish it, even though Marcos is very, very kind of durable, kind of all throughout the fight. But I just think that I think it's a winnable fight. I think this is. They were talking about taking Ribas off the fight card and trying putting on a kind of marquee match, but they wanted to keep her on the card. And I think this is not a bad fight against someone who's got numerous UFC wins, also a lot of losses on there, but she's got wins. I've got Ribas. I think once this goes to ground, she'll show her quality and her caliber down there, and I think she can submit her. If not, I think she'll round out a fairly unanimous type decision down there in Brazil. So I've got Ribas for the win there.
Yeah, I think this is, again, like you said, Will, I think it's a smart move keeping the fight as it is, because instead of doing a marquee fight, the issue with the marquee fight is it's a high risk then. She could lose the fight, and then she goes back down to kind of starting over again. Just build her up again. It's hard to build girls up in the lower weight classes because there's not enough fights, so to speak, to build them up before people start saying, hang on a minute, she's getting catapulted high in the rankings, and that's it then. You can literally get 2-3 wins, and that's you getting up in the top 15, top 10. I think for Ribas, it's a nice matchup because Randa's got experience. She's durable. She can hold her own enough on the feet, and she can also, like you say, she can hold her own on the ground a little bit as well. Yeah. I think one of the worries is for me is when Marcos is trying to get back to her feet. At some point, if it gets against the cage, she can give her back up with turning, and that's when Ribas can, kind of jump and latch on and sink in a couple of leg hooks in, and that's her tied up or body triangle. I think Ribas' kind of aggressive behaviour kind of doesn't work well for Randa Marcos. Randa likes to work away with her footwork around her opponents, switching stances. I thought Randa did all right in the Claudia Cadella fight, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
I was reasonably impressed. I thought that Claudia's not been the same. Kind of like Karolina Kovacevic, the pair of them just went right off the ball over the past, say, 2 years or something. But, I'm going to go with Amanda as well. Will, pretty much on everything you're saying there. I think the grappling aspect, Randa's shown a little kind of potential hole in the game there for someone with such a strong skill set in that field. And she's also got ground and pound, Amanda Ribas. She can, if she gets on top in a dominant position, whether it be side control, like you say, or mount or back control, she can apply ground and pound if she feels the submission isn't going to be there. So it's something that Randa has to take into account. I think it's kind of set up for Randa, this one, in Brazil. Great little win. Get a little highlight reel for her. Build the girl up. Smart move, smart decision, smart matchmaking. So I'm going Ribas for a stoppage at some point in the fight. Probably like a submission, like you say. Going on to the next fight. It's going to the bantamweight division with the women. Veronica Machado is going to fight Bea Malecki, who... I've got to be honest with you, I don't think Maleki's that much, I don't think she's much really to write home about. I don't think she's the level at which she should be competing at the UFC. She made a debut in the UFC, but like me and Will discussed, she's got an Instagram following, which assists in her, let's say, popularity to get signed, which I don't think you should be signing anyone on the back of that. Like, how do you get an Ultimate Fighter without a win? without a pro fight. It's just all this kind of stuff. I think what's her follow on her Instagram? Let's have a quick look here while we're just online. 23,800 people, and she writes, "I train UFC." Hilarious, sense of humour, and the pictures are I'll be there for a while. Look at them. So, but her pro debut, I don't think she looked even that sharp. Her opponent was absolutely gopping anyway. What was the name of the opponent again? Somebody, Duda. Yeah, Duda Santana. Yeah, absolutely gopping fighter as well herself. Yeah, I didn't think much of it. The rear naked choke, so to speak, the position she got in. I thought the takedowns were a bit scrappy. She's long and tall, which is something she has on her. The size advantage in this won't be huge, like we say. Veronica stepping in the bantamweight. I'm not sure the kind of thought process for Veronica on that, 'cause I think she looked very comfortable. I think Veronica's more suited to 125 than 135. I don't understand the reason for that. I think that she's taking a fight just because of the opponent. If I'm honest, I think Veronica thinks this is a far more ideal kind of opponent to go up against. And I think Veronica should win. I think Veronica on the ground, she's showing that she's got a good submission game. She can whip an armbar in here and there. She's got the dexterity with the kind of I think it's a taekwondo background she has or something like that. She's got the dexterity with the legs and the hips. And women are generally more flexible when you watch their kind of, especially the armbars they get put into. And it can bend a bit. I think Veronica, though, will have an advantage on her feet here, because for Malecki to get the takedown, she's going to have to probably get double underhooks, do an inside or outside leg trip. Because I can't see her getting low enough for like a single or double leg, because there's going to be a height disparity, and Veronica will have the kind of distance with the footwork to keep it at bay. So she's going to have to get against the cage, overpower the leg trips to get the fight to the ground if she is to get anywhere with it. I just think Veronica, though, has more weapons on the feet. I think she can keep her away. I'm going to go with Veronica decision, though. I think she could just kind of work Malecki off. And I just think the experience and knowledge is a huge factor. I think Malecki will just kind of not have the answer first time round for what she wants to do. But then she won't be able to figure out that B plan, that C plan. She won't be able to engage something else. So I'll go decision for Machado.
Yeah, I'm going to go with Veronica as well. It's like when you look at Malecki, she's 1-0. Like she's had a couple. I think she had 3 or 4 amateur fights.
Yeah, still not enough.
She faced the Alexey, and Alexey kind of disposed of her fairly easily. Then that's Santana. I mean, she was not great. So it was a very kind of low level fight. Probably a fight that should really not be taking place in the UFC. And then you've got Veronica here. The thing that kind of jumps out is the fact that it's 135 and Veronica's not 135. She's tiny. The girl is tiny. So she's not a big girl. But she's a brown belt. She is, I think it's a taekwondo background she comes from, so she can use her kicks to her advantage, like and kind of shorten distance a little bit more with the kicks and keeping her at distance. But yeah, this to me, it should be Macedo that kind of gets the W here. I've just when I watch Malecki for the couple of fights that you see of her, no, it's just that she shouldn't really be in this spot. But in saying that, Macedo's had an opportunity and she's lost a couple of fights, and she's coming off a really quick win though over Viana where she caught that armbar against a black belt. So yeah, especially standing out the southpaw stance, I think she could cause some problems with some kicks to the body and inside leg kicks and all that jazz. But I think she should have too much here. Not super confident, but she should have too much here for Malecki. So I'm going to take a pretty kind of dominant decision.
Nice, bro. We're going to go to I'm looking forward to this, and as much as Will is as well. We've got Gustavo da Silva taking on David Dvorak. Will, take it away. This is an exciting prospect.
Yeah. Like I say, I was actually having a chat with someone over the weekend there about rebuilding the kind of flyweight division, and there is a host of really good flyweights outside the UFC that they could bring in and start to kind of rebuild that division. And this is the guy here they brought in. Now, I think this is supposed to be Sumadaji, but the whole coronavirus kicked off and he had to pull out, but they gave this guy the opportunity. And this is the guy that I've personally, through the European kind of fight scene, I've seen for the last, 3 years probably, I want to say it is. I've kind of heard some rumblings about him. And then when I heard the UFC were going to Czech Republic last year, I thought, this guy's got to be nailed on. The win streaks that he's on. Never got the opportunity, but then that really didn't stop him. Fought a couple of times in 2019. the one, obviously his last fight really stands out if you watch it, because he showed a lot of really, when you watch him, he's so crisp with everything that he throws. He is really, really a crisp, like 1-2 striker. Uses his kicks really well. I think his teep kick is one of his best weapons. He angles off really well. He can attack the legs, then low kicks really, really well. Haven't you really seen too much of his wrestling? I've seen a couple of fights where he's kind of stormed in for takedowns and got them down, but he's came through. I think it was the Shalaman. Sorry, I'm going to bring up this name. I didn't want to butcher his name. Salambek Damiev. He had an armbar kind of deep on him in that fight there, so he showed a little bit of heart to kind of come through a really tough spot there, and then eventually he managed to turn it around and get the rear naked choke. And he's someone, once he gets your back, he puts in a very, very tight body triangle, and he will work away with the one-arm chokes, and eventually he'll find you. It's what it seems to be. And he's one of these guys that is very good on the ground, very good on the feet, but super good, dangerous on the ground as well. So he's a pretty mixed, dangerous guy. He really is. I like what I've seen of him. Like I say, I probably knew about him for 3 years. There's a couple of fights in there that are a little bit iffy. The Goncharev one was like a 19-year-old kid with a kind of losing record. But sometimes you have to kind of take fights like that on the European circuit. But if you watch it, I was impressed with what I seen. I think that this is a good fight against Silva, who I kind of felt a little bit sorry for in his debut, because Khalid Taha was a big dude.
Huge. He looked massive.
Yeah, you could see the size difference, and he had trouble trying to manoeuvre about the cage for that guy to take him down. There's a few times he lifted him, put him against the cage, and he thought he might get a takedown through that, but he just couldn't do it, and he got dropped a couple of times in that one. Now moving down to 125, I kind of leaned Dvorak, but this to me has the kind of close fight in Brazil at home for Silva that might actually just kind of go his way. I think if anybody's finishing this fight, I think it'll be David, because I think he is so aggressive on the feet and so crisp and technical that I think he could definitely knock this guy out. I really do. I think he's got some power in his hands for 125, and he's got the skills on the ground to kind of back it up. Interesting fight. Like I say, I feel like David should win, but this, I think it's going to be a close split decision either way. I'm going to go with my gut feeling and what I like, who I would like to see win, which is David, because I think he's got a lot of. He could be good in this division. I really do. So I'll take him via decision. But would it surprise me if it went the other way and Silva got a kind of home country decision? No, it wouldn't. But it's got all the kind of inklings of being a very, 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 very close fight to me. But I'll take Dvorak.
I'm heavy on Dvorak. I think he is an exceptional fighter. He's went, like say, well on the regional scene. And he's literally dealt with everyone that's come forward to him. You know, he's done superb in that respect. His 1-2 is so crisp, and he's long as well. He's got, that's what he said, Will, about the body triangle. He's got the kind of long arms and legs, but he uses it so well. Both of the aspects of his kind of, he uses what he's got as great weapons. He's got a great straight and a great jab. The two punches just work so well. It sets up so much stuff, like the leg kicks. He sets up the kind of range really to dictate fights at. He dictates it because guys kind of punch and miss and kick and they miss, and he's just in and out so sharp. The body triangles are just, it's so supple for him to get in there as well and wrap them legs up. You got to remember, what flyweight, there's no guy there with a belly. You can't have a belly in flyweight, so he's got these long legs that slip in so well, and he does apply such a squeeze and a contraction, contorts their body so much so that it makes it hard for them to even get this kind of grip on them. For Gustavo, I felt kind of rough on a guy, but he took his opportunity to come in the UFC, and as you would do. I think he should have a bit more success to get to the fight to the ground, but because of David's activity and strength and kind of, you know, the body as well, he'll have that kind of opportunity to use his sweep, maybe not a sweep so to speak, but use his legs and arms to create space to get it back to the feet. So I think Gustavo might have another kind of fight similar to Taha, where he gets the fight down maybe, but David's able to get himself back up again, or at least scramble to, in a sense, to make it an awkward kind of grappling aspect, rather than Gustavo will be more than happy to get this fight to the ground and kind of grapple it out with him. But I'm going to go with David. I just think his striking is going to force Gustavo to shoot for the takedown, but he won't it won't be the. You got to remember, if I want to go for a takedown, I'm setting up my takedown. I'm not blindly going for a takedown. I feel like David's kind of striking and distance will force Gustavo into a poor takedown attempt where he's not setting it up, he's just getting a takedown because he wants to get the fight to the ground. So that's sometimes when they shoot a little bit far out, there's opportunities for David to come back with a counter, maybe if he comes in, or obviously stop it, reverse it, and decide where he wants to take the fight to the ground. So I'm going to go with David here. I think he's going to be an absolutely huge talent in this flyweight division. Humongous. Next up we have in the ladies division again. Is it 3 ladies fights on this card? Yeah, I think it is, yeah. So, Maryna Moroz against Mayra Bueno Silva. Well, I like this fight as well, to be honest with you. I think that we've got she calls herself the Iron Queen, doesn't she? She's an absolute beast as well in this division. I think her boxing is something that people need to be aware of. You know, she, was it Ukrainian Commonwealth or Commonwealth box? She's like represented the country in the boxing, and to be fair, that is in itself a huge accolade. And obviously, she showed it in the Sabina Moza fight. I thought Sabina was going to absolutely tear her through because I thought she was going to use the leg kicks and the knees, etc. I thought she was, she'll have this all day long. Because Maryna's got the boxing, but she hasn't got anything else in that aspect, and she just literally went to town on it. And that was a return to flyweight as well, and she looks superb. And is it again the fact that she's not cutting the weight? It's a big factor. We see some of the fighters who make that drop that extra 10 pounds, and they do it because they think it'll help, and then they try it. It doesn't work out. They go back up again, and it works out a lot better for them down. You know, a lot of guys you see, Dustin Poirier going down to 145. Even Ross Pearson, to an extent, he went down to 145, didn't do well, came back to 155 and had a bit more success in that way. You see it with fighters, and I think she's found a groove at a flyweight. I think she looks a lot better, looks a lot healthier. She was stronger because she had more endurance in her. She didn't have to drain herself to get down to 115, so she had, let's say, she had like an extra 5 rounds, an extra round in her of high intense energy. She's coming against a girl who is an absolute savage, though, as well, who's just aggressive. Okay, Bueno Silva, she is the Gillian Robertson fight was, I was impressed by that armbar, to be fair. It was a slick armbar. And the Souza, well, to be fair, Mayana Souza fight was against a girl who was 602 years old or something like that. She was knocking on a bit, but you can't take it. She got the win. That's all that matters. I think this is going to be a tough fight for Bueno Silva in Brazil, because I think the issue she's going to have in this fight with Gillian Robertson. Gillian's not a striker, as we all know. Gillian wants that takedown, but her footwork isn't of the striker. So she hasn't got the footwork of distance control. She hasn't got the jab. She hasn't got that. Maryna Moroz just pops it out for 3 rounds. She throws combinations, and she doesn't get tired. She can just keep going and going. I'm going to go with Moroz here for a decision win. I think she can just pepper these boxing. She can just outbox her all day, Bueno Silva. I think she'll have a tough time trying to get her to the ground as well. I think she's just found a weight class at 125. She'll look a lot healthier again. She'll have the output, which will be obscene. And look, she can hit. She can pop with those boxing punches. So I'm going to go decision win here.
Yeah, I like Moroz as well. I didn't think I'd actually be saying that. I thought that there's not too many times I really picked Maryna Moroz, but this is one where I looked at and I was like, I think she's got advantages in this fight here. You've got Silva, who, like I said, she's very aggressive Muay Thai. That's what it is. She's a very, very aggressive Muay Thai, shoot a box type fighter, and she's very aggressive. So she comes forward throwing kind of everything she can. And like I say, you have to be kind of careful of the P's and Q's on the ground. She's got some skills because she's got obviously that ninja choke, and then she's got the armbar against Robertson. But the thing is with Gillian Robertson, that's like I say, she's one of those girls that either feasts or she famines. She gets something really quick or she can fade. I think I said that last week. And Silva caught her, but I think she got injured after that, didn't she? So, yeah, like I say, aggressive Muay Thai, and that's what she's going to have to use here. But I think her striking defense is poor. I think she's going to get popped at distance by Moroz, who is a really credentialed boxer. So, and like I said, her head stays on the centre line. So I think the jab is always going to be there for Moroz. And I think she's kind of easy to take down as well. I think that when you look at Moroz's last fight against Mazo, a couple of things that really stood out to me was a clinch work looked better, and she got a takedown. I thought her wrestling looked a lot better than what it did in previous fights, and not even just like taking it down, but just like different positions and so on. I thought it looked a lot better. And she's, like I say, I think she's just as aggressive on the feet as what Silva is. I think she will be throwing hands constantly, and she'll be pushing forward. But it's in Brazil, which if this fight's close, they might give it to the hometown girl. But for me, honestly, I think that this is a good spot for Moroz. I think she can use her boxing. Obviously, she's an American top team as well, so they've had girls kind of in there fighting all the time. She was probably a main partner of kind of Joanna fighting a little bit. So, yeah, I'm surprisingly going to take Maryna Moroz in this spot here. I think that she can get the job done. But like I say, it could be sketchy because, like I say, we're in Brazil. If it's close, you kind of expect maybe the hometown kind of person to get it. So I'll take Moroz on that one.
And we're going to go next up to the bantamweight division. Another fighter moving weight. Rani Yahya is in his standard bantamweight division, but you got Enrique Barzola. Enrique coming down at 135 from 145. We've looked on his Instagram, folks. He's looking almost as good as me and Will, of course, almost. But we've got about an 8-pack. He's only got 6. Lazy, but Will, phenomenal matchup. I think I love this matchmaking.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good fight. Like I say, we were speaking before. Interested to see what El Fuerte is like down at 135, because if that cuts right for him, then he's going to be a fairly big guy for the division with an exceptional gas tank and a lot of go in him. And I mean, he's coming off a loss to Evloev, who was bigger than him, stronger than him. But he kept himself in the fight, landed a lot of strikes, got a takedown. He did get taken down a few times, but he's very strong, and this guy can capture loads and loads of takedowns if he needs be. When you look at Yahya, he's starting to kind of look old a little bit for these kind of divisions. And like there's guys coming through, your Jans kind of in your 30s and your Stullins and your Sandhagens that are kind of in there. But this guy's a kind of elder statesman of the division. I think he's going to be start to use as a kind of stepping stone into that kind of top 15, top 20 mark. But to me, he just kind of looks a little bit older, and you can see his kind of gas tank is kind of depleting, and he's kind of hurting him a little bit through those fights. I think, like I said, his striking has definitely got better over the last couple of years, but he wants to get the fight to the ground. There's absolutely no doubt about it. If he gets the fight to the ground, he can establish his submission game, which is very, very dangerous with heel hooks, triangles, rear naked chokes, you name it. Kimura's, I think, was another one that he got against Briones. So on the feet, I think El Fuerte will completely outbox him. I think he'll be far too quick for him and have too much output. So he's going to be diving for legs. And if you look at his kind of takedowns, his best takedown is a single leg, which I just don't think he's going to get on someone like Barzola. I really don't. And you've got the bigger guy in Barzola who I think can take this guy down. But if you watch the Ricky Simone fight, you will see that Ricky took him down and literally just got back to his feet. I think that's something that he can do here, and he can do for the entire 15 minutes. And once Yahya starts to tie, he will want to go to the ground, so he will get taken down on numerous occasions. But if Barzola's smart, don't stay down there with him. Just let him get back to his feet and outbox him up there as well. So, yeah, I think he could maybe even stop Yahya. But yeah, like I say, Yahya's tough. He is. I'm going to pick Barzola. Being at AK, the guy looks like in peak physical shape. He's in there with Khabib and that. He's training with those Dagestanis that all come over. There's not just a few. There's a horde of Dagestanis. So he's going to be getting great wrestling, great grappling over there. I'm very confident, actually, that Barzola can get this done. I'd be surprised if Yahya manages to find a submission against this guy. But it could happen, because that is his go-to to win fights. But I've got Barzola pretty comfortably here. I think that he rolls in this spot.
Yeah, and if you look at the Ricky Simone fight, Ricky just got way overconfident and got caught a couple of times. Just because he got he got so confident that he didn't think Ronnie was going to throw strikes, and Ronnie was smart with, we can't obviously write Ronnie off completely, as we've said before. He will he'll go for the takedowns, like you said, he'll go for those single legs, but what he'll do then is he'll mix in that fake takedown to an overhand right, for example. He'll throw the combinations looping over, so he's expecting, for example, like Ricky did, put the hands down for going for the takedown and comes over the top. It's a classic simple kind of combination that works time and time again, because you can't forsake the takedown to think the punch, it's a fake for a punch to come and all that good stuff. So we might try to implement that in the fight a bit. Enrique, I'm sure then he'll have a size advantage here. Definitely size and strength advantage. I think Ronnie's going to have a really tough time getting him down. And that was the issue we had with Ricky as well. He just wasn't able to outmuscle him. Ronnie was just kind of leching on the hope he'll just come down with him. Ronnie Yahya's just got this kind of gas tank, for the first round, he will go for that takedown quick to get it. When it gets to the second, third round, he starts to taper off. The takedowns attempts are a little bit less. Enrique, it's kind of simple to beat Ronnie. Box only, don't throw kicks from the catch, use your footwork at distance, and pepper that jab out. And you literally cannot lose against Ronnie Yahya that way. It's the only way to beat him. And I'm with you. I think AKA will have drilled a lot of wrestling drills to escape the single legs, double legs, etc., ways to get up safe. And as a whole, Enrique's shown he's got good hands, and like you said, Will, he can land punches. I think he should be safe and secure. I think he should get the win. A nice decision win over Ronnie Yahya. It's a good way to get yourself into the bantamweight division as well. I think it's a good kind of building block. I think I put out there about Brett Johns fighting Ronnie Yahya. I thought it would have been a fantastic match for Brett Johns to get himself a nice little W over. But yeah, because Ronnie is a bit of a staple in not just the UFC bantamweight, but WEC as well, folks. He goes back, way back. So just to give you a heads up, he is a... I always tip my cap. I've always got a lot of respect and time for Ronnie Yahya because he's been around a long goddamn time. Crazy to think that, Will. He was WEC.
Yeah.
Gosh, so far back. Next up we have... in the flyweight division, what a tasty matchup, Will, again. Whew, honestly, from this, Barzola upwards, the cards, the fights just get tastier and tastier. Jussier Formiga against Brandon Moreno. Whew, man, what a scrap. Brandon Moreno, the tough Mexican, bite down, walks forward, takes a hit, throws a shot, combinations, he's got good strikes on him, where he can throw, he just comes forward with power. He's not kind of holding back on them. Jussier Formiga, one of the top flyweights for extended period of time is the best way to put it about it. He's been at the top of the game for a while, and obviously beat the 127.5 pound champ. Is that where we put him? So he's got his own credentials to say that he is, Could Jussier, if Jussier wins this fight here, could he say, "Look, I want to stab at, the fake champ"? I don't know what the hell you want to call him. Does that help put himself into there? I think it's a big step up for Moreno as well. And my only concern is every time Moreno gets a step up, he just falls a little bit short. Just seems to fall short, like Pantoja, Pettis. Those guys, he just falls a bit short. But the guys like your Kai Kara France, who is a respectable flyweight, but not on the top echelon, on the upper echelon, let's say, falls a little bit. He gets the wins there. Perez got the win there. He got the win against Dustin Ortiz, the kind of Ryan Benoit. Those kind of guys. He beats the guys you need to beat to get up to that next level. But I feel he's just kind of stuck in the middle. He's better than all them, but he just can't break into, say, like that top 5 of ninja warriors, that top echelon. I would love to see that Askar fight back again at some point with them two, because I just love that bloody matchup as a general whole. I thought it was fantastic entertainment. But Jussier Formiga, he's just a veteran now. He's got the experience, the knowledge base. He's got great takedowns and gets on top and can just pin you down and just stay on top of you. He can throw ground and pound when he's on top as well. Obviously, I think Benavidez obviously beat him in the last and put him to sleep, so to speak. But Benavidez just worked a great game plan, and Benavidez is, as we saw, I know he lost, but he is such a fantastic fighter. I'm going to go here with Jussier Formiga. I just think he's a smarter fighter. He makes the right decisions. He won't get enticed into a brawl with Moreno. Even though Moreno likes that would like you to do that a little bit, come in close. I think like Kai Kara-France was getting off some good shots before Kai Kara-France started to really slow down, and Brendan Moreno was able to keep that pace. So it felt like Kai Kara-France couldn't keep the same pace as Moreno, and Moreno was able to wear him down. I think Formiga's got the juice to get the fight to the ground because he'll entice Moreno in, get the takedown, and get on top of him. So and score those points. I'm going to decision win here for Jussier Formiga. I think he could absolutely get the win, and maybe put himself out there for a stab at the belt.
Yeah, like I say, it's a good fight, a really good fight. Two guys I like watching a lot for kind of different reasons. Cause I like Moreno's just style overall. I thought he looked great against Kai Kara-France. I thought that was the match. I bet him against Kai Kara-France. He was an underdog there, and I thought, I don't think it should be, the line shouldn't be as wide as what it was, but I got him at. I thought it could be a really competitive fight, and he hurt Kai with a couple of really good shots. He was just a little bit quicker, a little bit more cleaner to the strikes, and outstruck the striker, which is saying something. So that means he's maybe turned a corner with his striking. But the guy's very kind of unpredictable in many kind of areas, and that's what you kind of have to kind of take into account. He can get takedowns. You saw in the Pantoja fight, he got a couple there. The Sergio Pettis one, that's where he kind of had a lot of his success in that fight, was through his takedowns, but he really didn't ultimately get much there. But this guy can be taken down. You look at the Ortiz fight, he got taken down 3 or 4 times there, even though he went on to kind of win the fight in that one. So on the feet, I think, like I say, Formiga's definitely made jumps in his striking, but he's one of these guys that will kind of lull you into kind of a false insecurity where he'll maybe strike where you get aggressive and he gets takedowns. He did that with Figueiredo beautifully. He really did that. He brought Figueiredo into his game, and this is the kind of guy that if he gets you down once, his position over submission, he will happily stay on the back for the entire round, just pepper with strikes, maybe look to move position, but he will stay on the back the whole entire round, and he'll win rounds through that.
He had loads of top time, didn't he, against him as well, Figueiredo,
and that's something that you have to be careful with, because if you make one mistake, you could bring your back for 4 minutes of that round, and you're ultimately going to lose that round. But for me, Moreno, I think, can be very, very aggressive on the feet. I think that you can get Formiga. You've seen the Benavidez fight beforehand. If you can have a lot of output and not kind of getting close, where the thing is with Benavidez, he's such a good scrambler that when he gets taken down, he managed to kind of roll his back and then get back to his feet very, very quickly. I think Moreno he can do a little bit of that, but I don't think he can do that for the whole entire fight. Like I say, I think if Formiga gets him down for any part of the round, I think he can win a very close round through that. But on the feet, I think Moreno could maybe light him up a little bit, even though Formiga's definitely made some good advancements with his striking. I think Brandon Moreno is live as an underdog. He's a fairly sizable underdog. The money's coming in a little bit, but for me, this fight kind of reminds me. Not really reminds me, but the Figueiredo fight where he times takedowns and kind of wins the rounds through that. So I'm going to end up going with Formiga as well. But honestly, I don't think Moreno's a bad pick. I don't think if you've got a little bit of money out there, he's even a bad bet. But I think Formiga's just going to get these takedowns and win rounds through that. So Formiga for me.
Oh, well, I'm loving this next matchup as well, Will. Goodness gracious me, and I love saying this man's name. Elizeu de Santos against Alexey Kunchenko. Oh my word. Oh, what a matchup, Will. Well, please tell me how excited you are about this. Please be excited as I am. I think this has just got the makings of a stand-up entertainment fight.
Yeah, we're looking for de Santos to really come back to what it was. He never showed it in that fight with Li Jingliang, which is weird because Li Jingliang looked totally. I don't know what he was playing at last weekend, like attempting takedowns and stuff. That was a weird performance for me from Li Jingliang. But props to Neil Magny for a really kind of dominated win, and especially after the time off. But before that, I mean, Elizeu was just absolutely going through dudes. He really was. He beat Sean Strickland with a big kick. Vendramini, he took some lumps in that fight, but eventually, you can't rest on your laurels with this guy. He can hurt you kind of any point of the fight, and he did that with that kind of flying knee. And then he used his black belt that he's got against Millendown. Curtis Millendown has very little BJJ defense, so he used that to his advantage. So the Li Jingliang was just like really, it was a bit of an eye opener there because he just didn't look this kind of same fighter. Whether it's fighting in China, and I can't remember who mentioned it at the weekend. It might have been the commentators that think that maybe the hardest place to fight is somewhere like China, which wouldn't surprise me. But then you've got Kunchenko, who's just a very calm, kind of collected fighter. Doesn't look to be exciting. Looks to be the kind of spoiler type fighter, but is always in the fight. He's a really hard guy to take out, and he's a really hard guy to really be kind of dominant over. And you've seen that, and he's kind of the Alves one. I don't think that was his best performance. In Okami, that was I think a good spot. Okami's a lot older now. He used to be a guy that used to fight up divisions, and now he's down at 170. And Kunchenko, which is a good matchup. But then you had Dorino, who smaller dude coming in at 170 against a kind of big, kind of thick set guy. Was very kind of active on the feet with Kunchenko, which I thought was maybe Kunchenko could kind of use that pop the jab out there style to kind of win rounds. But ultimately he got the takedowns, which won him the fight there. Yeah. Zaleski, I don't think, I'd be surprised if Zaleski comes out here and wants to take this fight to the ground, even though I think he could. I mean, Capoeira's his nickname. He throws crazy stuff. He looks for the knockouts. I've seen interviews with him before that he loves knockouts. He loves finishes with strikes. So Kunchenko's tough though. Kunchenko is really, not unless he catches him clean on the button, I don't see him taking him out. But I see Zaleski probably getting the win via decision. But Kunchenko's a tough guy, and if he gets off to a quick start and gets ahead, then it could be hard for Zaleski to really get more aggressive. He might get kind of time with his shots a little bit and hit up a little bit by Kunchenko. But I'm going to go with Zaleski with Santos. It's just a really good fight, though. Really interesting fight.
It is an interesting fight. I was a little bit torn because, you know, like you say, Alexey is a spoiler. He's just a fundamentally sound fighter, and on the feet he can put out that he can take a hit as well. He is tough as Coffin, so you think, right, okay, can Zaleski throw? You know, let's say, can he throw out 3 rounds of heavy striking? Can he outthink? And I think one of the advantages is that Zaleski throws heavy because he has the jiu-jitsu background, kind of like Gilbert Burns does. You know, Gilbert's going, cool, I'll throw anything I want because I don't care if you take me to the ground because I'll have a field day down there. And that's part of what it is. He has got a skill set in the back. I just don't think Kunchenko would bother even going to try to take the fight to the ground anyway. I think he'd be happy just to keep it standing and battle on the feet. Man, I think Zaleski just had an off day with Jingliang because it just didn't seem like it was him. But like we've said before, guys have off days. Even girls have off days when they fight. I've got to admit, I'm a bit fan of Zaleski. I do love watching this guy fight. I think he should get the win here. I think because of what he offers on the feet with the variety of strikes is the difference between him and Kunchenko. Kunchenko's a bit more fundamental with his striking. I think Zaleski offers more with the strike variations that he has. I think he can throw more unpredictable strikes towards you. So it has you thinking, has you more on the back foot. I just think he has to be just more aware that there is the takedowns there. Kunchenko can get taken down. He got taken down, like you said, by Gilbert Burns, and there was a huge gap hole in his game. And I just think he needs to take full advantage of that. And if he can get Kunchenko to engage on the grapple and on the cage, go for the sweeps, get on top, and maybe see what he can apply there. But I'll probably go with Zaleski for decision win, because I think Kunchenko's tough. I'm going to give Kunchenko a lot of credit. The guy is hard as coffin nails, so I'll give it a decision win. Next up we have, he's still alive, Francisco Trinaldo, somehow still kicking it around against John Makdessi, mate. I'm a bit stuck on this one, because you know my problem with both of these guys are they're both counter strikers.
Yeah.
So I'm really a bit annoyed and concerned about what's going to happen in the fight. I get the feeling that John's going to be the more patient fighter and not try to engage with Trinaldo. I think he'll hope that Trinaldo comes forward, throwing the strikes to kind of counter off, which I think that's where the weakest part for Trinaldo is being the aggressor on the striking, because he is hittable then. Whereas when he's being the counter striker, he's baiting you in for the strikes because he's coming at you with something. For example, is it Evan Dunham fight was with the knee to the body. Like he's kind of baiting you guys in because he wants to throw like a heavy shot, like a heavy overhand right or something like that. So it is something I think that John's got to be thinking. If he just can be patient and get Trinaldo to come in, he can maybe land off a couple of strikes, and then he can use that distance to kind of pick apart him. But let's not forget, Trinaldo, as much as you want to try and write him off, because he's about 600 years old, you can't. And even John is he's no spring chicken now. He's hitting his mid-30s. So it's something as well to take into account. And he's been around a little while. He's had a few fights on him. Like his last fight against Jesus Pinado or something like that. Pinedo. That's the one. He should be beating someone like that. Ross Pearson, just played it smart with Ross Pearson. Ross Pearson's beatable. Got that win. Solid performance against Abel Trujillo, but was Abel on the latter part of his career there? It kind of was. It's not went too well for him. He's not had a lot of activity as well. John, he's not fighting. I think it's a step up. Even Francisco Trinaldo, I'd call Trinaldo a step up for him. I think it's an absolute a pain to fight. I think it's a horrible fight for anyone to fight Trinaldo. Kind of like Prazeres was. You know, because he does like win and lose, but if you look at the guys he's losing to, Trinaldo, Alexander Hernandez, who we all know is a bit of an absolute warhorse, absolute gas tank, just wore him out. James Vick, he is a tough matchup, especially the height difference between the two of them. I think there's about 20 foot between the two of them. It looked absolutely ridiculous. It was like a BFG fighting a kid. And then you had Kevin Lee, and it wasn't too bad that fight either. I think didn't he rock him in the first round off the top of my head? That was the one where he rocked him. So. But you wins over Jim Miller, Evan Dunham, and Bobby Green, who are all guys who I think John would have a tough time with if they fought right now. I'm going to go with Trinaldo. I just think he has a way to win fights against guys, and I think if he can get the fight to the ground, he can win. And I think he throws heavy enough to kind of entice Mark Diakiese to maybe go for it, maybe try and attempt to take that. But I just think Trinaldo just has ways of winning. I just can't even put my finger on it. I just look at it and go, how? But he does. He gets the win. So I've got to go with Trinaldo here. I think that Diakiese will want to do back on the back foot, counter-strike. But I just don't think it'll work out for him. I think Trinaldo should get away with the victory here.
Yeah. I think this is going to be close. I think it's a very, very close fight. I think that people... underestimate maybe Makdessi a little bit. I think he's actually pretty solid in a lot of, especially his striking aspect. But I mean, when you only fight once a year, you're going to get forgotten about, and that's kind of what happens with the guy. But really good striking. I think he's got some very good takedown defense, which you might need against someone like Trinaldo. But like I say, most of the fights kind of stay standing. Makdessi's fights, and he's got a really good kind of constant kind of rate, and he throws kind of. I think he could maybe out volume Trinaldo a little bit, but I think the harder shots will definitely show on Trinaldo's side, and I think that's where this fight to me I think is a little bit sketch. I think that Trinaldo's not getting any younger, even though he's an absolute machine, but it's got to be a tip-off point where you get someone with a kind of good output like Makdessi's got, where he could potentially outpoint him. And like I say, he's got the takedown defense to maybe backing up, not being kind of taken down. What I see from Makdessi is like really good kicks. I think it's a Taekwondo background he's got. And he counters really well. And he's going to have to do that against someone who's a little bit aggressive in Trinaldo, who throws big bombs. So he's going to have to really keep on his toes and keep back and just be careful, because like I say, with Trinaldo, we know what he's all about. He's got some big power, and if he catches you, he can hurt you. And fighting at home, he seems to tend to do really, really well. But like I say, I think Makdessi can outpoint Trinaldo here. But this fight's sketched to me because I can see someone like Makdessi maybe winning a couple of rounds, but ultimately losing a split decision in Brazil. This kind of rings out to me as being one of those fights. But to me, Makdessi's just a little bit quicker, a little bit more output. But I think the kind of harder shots are really going to resonate with the crowd, because Massaranduba is huge down in Brazil, and he gets big pop for everything that he lands. And but like I say, I feel I should pick Makdessi here, but I've never been I can't be confident in the pick. Like I say, my kind of look in this fight is it's going to be very close. It might look like a John Makdessi win, but it might end up being a Francisco Trinaldo decision. And some people might end up moaning because they've lost money, or whatever it may be. But that's the kind of the risk you take sometimes with fight like these by betting. You'll get enticed by a betting line, and the fight will be like, yes, I've won that bet, and then, but remember we're in Brazil and they gave it to Trinaldo, and it probably shouldn't go to Trinaldo, but I'm going to take Francisco Trinaldo to win a very controversial split decision here. I think this is going to be close. I think Makdessi's going to give him some problems. If he doesn't get countered hard, then I think he could easily outpoint Trinaldo. But I've got Brazil being Brazil and giving the home ball here, so give me Trinaldo in that one there.
I'm going to give you another tricky one. Johnny Walker against Nikita Krylov in the light heavyweight division. I think it's a tricky one. Because I think it's a bit quick for Johnny Walker popping back in. Doesn't feel like that long ago. What, 5 months ago? Less than 5 months ago since last outing and got stopped. But hey, he probably feels fine. Who knows? Will, what are your thoughts on this one?
Love the fight. And if you're a long time viewer of the MMA Huddle, you'll know that I'm an absolute sucker for Nikita Krylov. Mm-hmm. He's a guy that I seem to bet every single fight, and I probably will do it every single fight. I love him. He's never in boring fights. He's deficient. He's flawed in a lot of areas, but he's super aggressive. Comes out of that choking karate, so he strikes are really, really good. He will get spots on the ground where he'll get to full mount, but then he'll do something silly and he'll give up position. Like I watched the Teixeira fight.
The back, didn't he?
Yeah, he had him at full mount. He had him in the he had his back, and then he ends up. I think the last 10 seconds of that fight, he's got his back. He's got Teixeira's back. Ends up getting reversed where Teixeira's on top of him, and he loses a split decision, which I still think that he could have won that fight. But when you make mistakes like that, you're at the mercy of the judges, and that's what happens there. With Johnny Walker, I mean, I hopefully got humbled a little bit with that Corey Anderson knockout. That shows you that, like, Corey Anderson doesn't really finish anybody via strikes, straight up striking, and he caught him there. So you've got the dangerous style of Krylov, who is very long and will throw a lot of kicks, but is there to be got at as well. But like explosive striking from Walker, a guy that I don't even think he's been in the octagon for like 5 minutes in his 4 or 5 fights. So super dangerous. Like I say, you don't know what to expect from this guy. Spinning back fists, flying knees, you name it. But if you can counter him and you can unpredictable is kind of the word for Johnny Walker. So you don't know what you're really going to get, and you have to kind of respect his power at all times, because whatever he can throw can end the fight. But I still think he's very, very deficiently bad with his defense. I think that he leaves his chin super exposed to get hit at all times because he throws these wild attacks. And I know he's went to TriStar. I just don't think that's enough time to really for him to really change a fighter that much. Big red flag for me was Johnny Walker completely blaming his coach and everything for that last loss. That's a red flag to me, and obviously he's went to TriStar to kind of change that up a little bit. I am gonna pick Krylov. You know which way I'm going in this. There's no way. What I do think is that Krylov can take this to the ground, and he's not a guy that just sits there and kind of half guard. He will make his move into full mount, and I think with someone like Johnny Walker, who I don't think's got a great ground game, he can get to full mount. I think if he gets there without making silly mistakes, he can stop the fight there. So, like I say, I like the karate style of Krylov. I like his kind of attacks, but he is deficient. I know what I'm doing by taking a shot on Krylov here. He could look good for the first round, then end up getting sparked in the second round. But I'm going to pick Krylov via TKO, via ground and pound. In this one. I'm looking forward to the fight, though.
Yeah, because Krylov is one of those guys. I'm either going on my shield, or I'm holding my shield. He is very, very much that way because he just goes all in. And that's something I take a lot of, I take my cap off to him, and obviously Krylov's not going to be too much oversized with Johnny Walker, as we've seen Johnny Walker can look quite monstrous, because Krylov himself came from heavyweight down to light heavyweight. So Krylov's dealt with guys who are bigger. Johnny Walker, like you said, there's a couple of red flags, isn't there? The clinch, I think something you want to look at, folks, if you haven't seen it already, is the Khalil Roundtree fight. When he did have Khalil in the clinch, if you watch that back, Khalil was landing a couple of strikes over the top of the clinch onto Johnny Walker's chin, and it was bothering Johnny Walker a bit. Krylov, he'll be a bit taller, but that's something you take into account with that. If Johnny's going to try and get a clinch game, and that seems what Johnny Walker likes to do straight away, likes to grab a clinch. Man, I'm going to really want to hit that chin as soon as possible on Johnny Walker after 4 or 5 month break. You've got to get onto there straight away. You've got to land some strikes. Johnny Walker, he's going to come out explosive. First thing he's going to do in the first minute, he's going to try and be a bit kind of unorthodox, even though he's a TriStar, which is weird because I think your style isn't TriStar style. That's the thing that caught me off guard. I thought, now Johnny Walker goes around everywhere training. He's a bit like a Valentina Shevchenko. They go around different places. I just was a bit perplexed that I thought, Faraz likes a guy with a style and likes to game plan and Johnny Walker's more a, what's the game plan? Fuck it. And just goes, it's like someone who's just playing the UFC game for the first time on a controller and just hitting all the buttons. That's what he looks like. He just throws all these different combos and get some. They pay off sometimes they don't. So it'll be, like you said, Will. It's too early for him to get for ours to get what he wanted implemented into Johnny Walker, i.e., knocking out the bad habits. He's got those bad habits drilled into him for years. It takes a bit of time to kind of reset, build up, and get the good habits in. You don't do that in 5 months. I don't care who you are. He's trained with likes of GSP and stuff like that, so it's just a kind of good experience and a good kind of thing for him. He would have had a lot of fun with it. But gosh, both of them are red flags, aren't they? That's the thing about this fight. It's a flip of a coin. I'll go Krylov as well, because he's just. Yeah, I just like Krylov as well, to be honest with you. I've loved the guy for years as well. He's just fun. I'm just so happy they signed him back to UFC when he was fighting in Russia, and you thought, man, fair enough, fight there, I don't care. He did his own thing, but I'll go with Krylov because I think it's a bit of a flag, Johnny Walker. Like you said, blaming your coach as well. I'm like, look, your coach got you to the dance, mate. He got you to the dance before it, and now now you're going to put a finger out there. Come on now, man. You can't do that to your coach. You can't throw them under the bus. That's bang out of order. Unless you're BJ Penn's coach, when he stood up against bloody Frankie Edgar in that bloody fight. Unless that's the only person you're going to shoot down. But yeah, I'll go Krylov as well. Why not? He's a crazy son of a bitch, and everyone loves him. Next week up, oh my gosh, what a weird fight this one is. It caught me off guard, but when I watched this tape, I thought, nah, it's going to be good. Renato Moicano against Damir Hadžović. Bit of a surprise fight. I think it was anyway. I was like, oh, Moicano. I still rate Moicano as like one of the top guys in that division. I'd still put him in there. Maybe it's an opportunity for Damir, and I thought. Then I watched it and I went, hang on a minute. I think this is an ideal fight for Renato Moicano here. I think they've got an absolute steal for him. He's obviously lost to Jose Aldo, which was fine. That's okay. It happens. I've got no qualms with that. Jose Aldo will catch people out all the time. Look at Jeremy Stephens. We both sat there when that fight and thought, oh, Jeremy can crack though. Not saying he's got and we were wondering about how he'd handle it, and he handled it well. And then the Moicano fight, he was able to apply like an absolute stellar boxing match. And that body shots, those left hooks from Jose Aldo, they're going to cause anyone's problems. And then he just kind of got caught in his last fight with this devastating kind of pop punch in his face and dropped, and I went, oh, okay, cool, well, maybe he needs a bit of a break, and he's done that. He's had a nice long break off, and they've given him a suitable fight in Damir Hadžović. I think Damir Hadžović is a great fight for him. I think Damir is hittable on the feet. Damir's going to want to try and grapple, but Moicano, he's not too bad on the ground, is he? He's all right. He can handle his own. And so I think this kind of it's a catch-22 for Hadžović because he'll have to stay standing. But you can see with Hadžović, he got a bit worked out by Gigas. Is it Gigas? I want to say it wrong. Aren't I? Giagos, sorry. There you go. Giagos, sorry. Yeah, I'm crap at saying names. Not my name, I don't care. Giagos, he just kind of got a bit outworked. He got hit on the feet and then was open for the takedowns from the exchanges. And you just saw kind of you can sort of, you put a bit of a pace on him. You can, Moicano can put a pace on, and he can put he's got an output as well on the feet. We saw Brian Ortega fight and all sorts. Man, I love Moicano as well. I think he's a wonderful guy to watch. I think he always brings a superb effort and a superb fight. I think he should take this fight against Damir pretty handedly. I think he should be able to control it on the feet. If he gets to the ground, he'll be a threat and a half. You could even see a guillotine finish by Moicano with Damir maybe shooting in. If I'm Renato, I'm just going to try and keep the fight standing and use that kind of lovely heavy Muay Thai that he can throw on folks. So I'm going Moicano, mate. I don't see why he shouldn't win this.
Yeah, I'm on Moicano as well. The UFC know what they're doing by putting him in a matchup like this in Brazil. And they've got a guy that obviously was a contender down at 145. Try and build him right. You might be a top 15 guy at 155, but you've got someone tough in Hadžović who can take a blow, can deliver a lick as well. So, but I just think across all the kind of aspects, I think that just Moicano is just better, and that's kind of how I see this here. Now, I think a finish could definitely be on the cards for him, depending on how quick he starts and depending on how aggressive maybe Hadžović is, because if he leaves himself open, I think he could get caught with the straight shots that Moicano has. And like I said, if it goes to the ground, I think that they could catch a submission down there as well. So I'm pretty confident that Moicano can come in here and win in this spot. So I've got Moicano. I'll take him via stoppage.
Yeah, nice. Ooh, what a sick co-main event. Demian Maia against Gilbert Burns. Ladies and gentlemen, feast your eyes on that. This is actually Demian Maia's second to last fight in his contract. So he's technically actually got one more scrap. And no doubt about it, he'll do it in Brazil. He'll probably go on the next Brazil card he can down south. He don't want to finish his last fight in his home country. But for a co-main event, not too bad, Will. Knowing it's Demian Maia's last scrap, second to last scrap as well. What do you get from that as well? I think there must be something to tell in there as well.
I think this is a dangerous trap fight for Gilbert Burns here. I've got a funny feeling that everything is on the side of Gilbert Burns, but I've just got this funny feeling that it's going to be a trap fight. And like if he keeps this standing, he should really have an advantage over Maia. But I've got the funny feeling that he's going to want to kind of test his kind of jiu-jitsu chops with someone like Maia, and that could be a big dangerous problem here. I mean, you've got Gunnar Nelson, and he's very established in that area, but Gilbert Burns really just stifled him in kind of every area. And he's been jumping in short notice as well, so he's been coming in like 2 weeks notice here and 2 weeks notice there. Beat guys, obviously. Mike Davis came in short notice. I think he's a good guy, actually. Caught him with a rear naked choke. Then Kunchenko, he came in there. That's a good win, I think, against a really tough, hard-nosed guy at that division. Big dude for 170 as well. And then Gunny, who's always had talks of him maybe going to 155 and not being super big. So he probably had a bit of a size advantage there. And he had an advantage with his striking output and his jiu-jitsu. It was just better than what Gunnar Nelson's is. Gunnar Nelson's very high level, but there's people that are just higher. And Gunny's faced probably the two guys in Burns, in Maia, that are the two kind of elite guys in that spot. But Gilbert Burns has really established himself with his striking throughout the years, and he's definitely added to his kind of game through that. But never forget that sometimes he likes to strike too much and he gets caught, like the Dan Hooker fight, where he kind of relied too much on his strike and ended up kind of taking a punch, and that was him. So, but you really haven't kind of got the scary kind of stand-up of someone like Demian Maia. He's going to look to kind of literally throw punches to get a hold of you in some way and look to get takedowns through that. But he's a big dude for 170, Demian Maia. He's a former middleweight, and he will get takedowns. And if he gets takedowns, you're in a lot of trouble, because you can't get him off your back. you can't get him off your, if you're on the bottom, he will work his way super technically to get to the ground. But this is the guy that's not really taken, and especially in a couple of fights where he didn't really take any damage across a couple of fights. Then he kind of had a little bit of a back and forth fight with Askren, where Askren took him down and used his superior wrestling. But ultimately, that kind of just played into the hands of Maia, and Maia will do that for 15 to 25 minutes all the time. If Gilbert Burns fights smart here and just keeps his standing, now you know what Maia's going to do. He's going to be aggressive and come forward and try to clinch and take you down, or just get a hold of you, and he can absolutely win the fight through that. But like I say, Burns, if he keeps his standing, he will win the fight, I think. A little bit concerned about his gas tank, but he's had a full training camp for this fight, so I expect that to be kind of cleaner than what it has been in coming in short notice. But I've just got this smelly suspicion that Gilbert Burns is going to want to test his grappling here, and if he does that, then he could be at the mercy of one of the best guys, maybe even the best guy we've seen in the UFC with his jiu-jitsu. So, but it's hard to pick him in this matchup, so I think the line's off. I think at -200 for Gilbert Burns is a little high, but everything kind of really moves into his way. He's faster, he's quicker, he's got better footwork, better striking. Probably Demian Maia can absolutely kind of tire himself out as well in some of those positions where he's trying to get those takedowns. I feel I should be taking a shot on Demian Maia, but I haven't got the confidence to do it, so I'm going to take Gilbert Burns via a decision, but there could be some sketchy parts in this fight here.
It is one of them ones, isn't it, where he has a knack to get people down, Demian Maia.
Yeah.
He submitted Ben Askren, didn't have to worry about the striking side of things of Ben Askren anyway. Rocco Martin, he was a quicker guy. He was a sharper, faster guy on the feet, showed he was able to be smart enough. Lyman good, tough dude on the feet, solid striking as well, but inevitably didn't have to worry about that. And you look at only who's lost to as well. He doesn't lose to any bum. Usman, Covington, Woodley, all of them title challengers. Rory McDonald, Jake Shields, every single one. I'm just spitting out names. And Chris Weidman, all of them were top title contenders, champions, etc. The one with Mark Munoz years and years ago, which to be fair to Mark Munoz, he was a very strong wrestler. So he was a guy, Anderson Silva. Demian Maia does not lose to nobodies. He does not lose to nobodies. He's smart, he's clever, he somehow gets the wins. And that's one thing that just kind of bugged me. I sat there and went, Gilbert's on a run, he's flying, he's doing jiu-jitsu competitions, he's got confidence blossoming. But then you think, who's he fighting compared to Demian Maia? And you think, oh, hang on a minute. There is levels to the game. And like you said, Will, the Gunnar Nelson one was a superb one. When you look at Demian Maia and Gunnar Nelson, you look at Gilbert Burns and Gunnar Nelson. I've got to go with Demian Maia. I don't know what it is about this man. He's just so hard to pick against him because he needs one takedown. That's it. He doesn't need to get you down 3 or 4 times. Once you're down, you're down. It's very hard to get up. It's very hard to get the fecker off you. I'm going to go with Demian Maia. I just think because Gilbert Burns is confident with striking, but he can go heavy on the strikes because he's got the confidence to get into the ground. That's where I think Demian Maia can take advantage to grapple, to maybe jump in for the clinch work and get the fight to the ground. So I'm going to go with Demian Maia. I think he can get another sub. And I love Gilbert Burns. I think he's a wonderful human being. He's a great kind of asset on social media as well. He's just funny. He posts some funny bloody videos as well. He posted the one of the Tony Ferguson training one with the young kid kicking the wall with the pad, and that was bloody brilliant. So he is a great one, but I don't know. Demian Maia. Do you know what I mean? There's something about Demian Maia, man. It's hard to pick against him. So I'm going to go Demian Maia. And plus, I just like Demian Maia to finish on a high. This fight and the next fight, I'd love to see him just walk away 2 wins. Go, cool, that's it, 5 in a row, I'm done, I'm happy. That'd be great, that. I'd hate seeing legends like that fall on the, they just deplete down, and that's them done. Next up, we have in the main event, which I won't lie, I was a little bit stuck, a little bit confused on, but I finally made my decision. Kevin Lee is going to face Charles Oliveira. for Charles Oliveira, it's about goddamn time, isn't it, Will? I think that he's got this main event against a guy in the lightweight division who's a name, a top name. I think that for too long, I feel like Charles Oliveira, yeah, he's broken the submission wins in the UFC, all this good stuff, he's banging them away, but I just felt like that he was getting too many suitable fights, let's say. You know, like you say, you got the Guida, the Giargos, the Miller fight, which is probably the harder out of all of them. The Tamer, Lentz, come on, can you do me a favour, the Lentz one, and Gerald Gooden. You know, there was a handful of fights. I thought, well, I think he's above them, in my opinion, and he showed it with Muay Thai. He's developing his striking, which is good. He's finally realising that he's a big, long, gangly thing that he can use his strikes. He doesn't have to just rely on grappling with people. But the issue you got with Charles Oliveira is he's got a striking, which is nice. But to get the takedown, he's got to get Kevin Lee down. Now, Kevin Lee is strong. He's big for 155. Kevin Lee will not go down easy. Charles Oliveira will have to jump, pull guard kind of thing. Jump for the guillotine, you know, the reach over the head for the guillotine, stuff like that. Kevin Lee's got a solid jiu-jitsu game in himself. And now, I'm not saying he's at the level of Charles Oliveira. I don't think he is, in my opinion. But something that Kevin Lee has, he's got pop in his punches, pop in his kicks. He can crack hard. Charles Oliveira's chin, little bit on the shaky side when he gets hit. He doesn't like he doesn't like the pressure, doesn't like getting hit. You look at the Paul Felder fight, Kevin Lee has great top control, great top pressure. He's very good at cutting through people for transitions, like exchange from like guard to half guard, etc., back control. You're Kevin Lee, you got to think to yourself, cool, if you're going to pull me in the guard, I'm going to use ground and pound. I'm going to get through the guard to half guard. That's the first thing you want to do if you've got Charles Oliveira, is get to his half guard. Get out of his guard. Don't play in his guard game. That's where the dangers are, the triangles, the arm bars, etc. If you're Kevin Lee, you want to do a half guard battle where you can use the elbow strikes like a Paul Felder, where you can just throw the ground and pound on. So Charles Oliveira is going to use the striking. He's got to try and close the distance to get the grapple. He's not going to get a takedown in a sense of like he's not going to shoot for a double like Charles Oliveira. If he does, to be honest with you, I would love to see it because I think it'll look horrendous, and I think Kevin Lee would love to see that view as himself. But I just don't see him getting the fight down that easy. I think he'll have a tough time against someone like Kevin Lee, who's just the big, strong guy. Kevin Lee's going to have a huge amount of confidence coming back after that Gillespie knockout as well, which is something you've got to be considering, which is absolutely devastating. I just don't want Kevin Lee to get too overzealous with the kicks and rely on it for Charles to get him down. That's my little concern. Like, just keep it on the boxing a little bit. Use the kicks wisely. Time them at the end of combinations. When you're throwing a heavy striking with the hands, end it with the head kick to then, keep Charles Oliveira on the back foot. But mate, I'm going to go with Kevin Lee. I just think it's a great matchup for Charles Oliveira. Absolutely superb matchup. It's finally got a big name. I just think that the wrestling side of things of Kevin Lee is something he can use to keep this fight away. Because I thought Felder would have had a tough time against Oliveira with the grappling side of things, but he showed he did well. He did give us all a scare. I have to admit, though, when Felder went into his guard, I think we all watched it. I was like, what are you doing? I think they showed the corner of Duke Rufus as well, and Duke Rufus thinking, oh, no. But he held his own. So I'm going to go with Kevin Lee. I'm going to go with stoppage, mate. I think Kevin Lee's got 5 rounds in. He could put a workload in. And I think Charles Oliveira, if he gets hit a bit too much he doesn't like it too much, so I'm not saying no one should like it, but he doesn't take too well to getting striked in the face. So I'm going to go with Kevin Lee on this one.
Yeah. This was, I think, in a very long time, one of the fights that I really enjoyed digging into and just watching both guys come back and watching fights. Because, especially on Oliveira's side, because everybody knew that guy is more of a submission whiz, a jiu-jitsu whiz. But that guy's striking and his Muay Thai has seriously improved over the last few years, where he is dangerous and he's long in many, many aspects as well. And like he's throwing like jumping Superman elbows, and he caught that, was it the Lentz fight where he caught him with the straight right down the pipe, caught him right in the end of his nose and finished the fight through there. Go to the Jared Gooden fight where he's catching him there with an uppercut to knock that guy out, and that's probably not even his strong suit. But it's coming along that rapidly that he is just dangerous, like super dangerous at any. He's long as well. He's long. He's lanky. He's aggressive. He's so aggressive, and you cannot in any sport in this fight you you can't rest against your laurels against him because he could catch you in so many areas. But then you're talking about, look, you can go from your Clay Guidas to your Hiagos, Jim Miller, Tamer, Lentz, Gordon, Will Brooks. They're not Kevin Lees, who, this is the guy that fought for a title, ultimately ended up getting submitted against a guy that's one of the most dangerous guys in 155 history. Still not lost since he fought Kevin Lee. Obviously fights Khabib next month. But that you can do it against those guys that are probably not even top 25 guys now. Now you've got probably a top 5 guy that could fit into that top 5. You could see fighting a Gaethje or whoever it may be in that division, a Poirier or whatever. You can see him fighting guys like that. I can't really see someone like Charles Oliveira fighting like a Gaethje or whoever it may be. But he's so dangerous. So when you look at both guys, I love the fact that Kevin Lees went to TriStar. I think for some reason I've got the feeling that that's going to be a perfect place for him to flourish under someone like Faraz Sahabi, who I think will just absolutely break everything down and work in everything, and he will become a very, very kind of patient striker. I think, and you kind of saw that a little bit in the Gregor Gillespie fight where he had that low stance, and he had to kind of keep that because he obviously had one of the best wrestlers in Gillespie, and he landed a couple of really nice right hands. He get hit with a few hands, good hands, because you could see he was marked up a little bit when he did finish the fight. But he made some really good reads in that fight, and ultimately the read that showed the most was the high kick, which he threw 30 seconds before that, and he obviously noticed something that he could use to his advantage. So he managed to hit him with the right hand and then come with the left kick and absolutely floored that guy, and that was a devastating knockout. And his boxing has definitely come on through the years. If you watch him early on, his striking has really come on through the years, and it looks kind of sharper than really it's kind of ever been. And he's long. He's got a long reach at 155. I think it's 77, 78 inches. He's probably got, 46 inches on Oliveira here, even though he's probably the shorter guy in this spot. And Oliveira, his head kind of stays in the same place. He doesn't move. He keeps his hands very high, but I still think you can break through the guard with his shots. And I think you can. I'm still not fully clued on to Charles Oliveira not having like wilting a little bit to shots like he did in the past against Holloway. I think Cub Swanson was another. It still doesn't sit right with me in that spot, in those kind of spots. But like Oliveira has so many weapons, and he will attack with all of them as well. I think where this fight's going to be won and lost is actually on the ground, because I think that Kevin Lee is a far superior wrestler here, and I think he can get takedowns on this guy all day. And I think he can tire him out through that. Now, obviously, with the jiu-jitsu that Charles Oliveira's got, that you can't take anything for granted against this guy. Nick Lenz got him down a couple of times. Kevin Lee is probably the best wrestler that he's probably ever faced. And he's a guy that can take down loads of guys. I mean, he took down Tony Ferguson. He had spots there where he had top position.
He had mount?
Yeah, he did. He had the full mount there.
There's a staph infection that wrecked him.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. He's a very powerful wrestler. And he's really good with his submissions himself. And we have seen in the past that Oliveira's been submitted a few times.
Yeah.
So I think Oliveira as well, he's got takedowns. You can see him like kick the leg out, get trips and so on. But I just don't think that's going to work against Kevin Lee. So I don't think that's a game plan that he can use. And I think that Kevin Lee can get up. I think he's got a decent get-up game. We've seen that in previous fights going way back. Maybe even the Pesares one off the top of my head. But like I said, I just think Kevin Lee can get takedowns here. I think he can tire out someone like Oliveira. He's never been 5 rounds. Kevin Lee's been 5 rounds, past the 3rd round a few times. I just think everything lines up well here. But in saying that, Charles Oliveira's just been shutting everybody down recently, so would it surprise me if he comes out and does that here? No. What I liked about Kevin Lee from the Gillespie fight was, he could have been calling out for a bigger guy. Now he's taken one of the more dangerous guys outside of the rankings here, and he's working himself back up into that position, and he's only 27.
Yeah.
So there's still a lot to come from it, and he can get takedowns. I think his wrestling game's going to be huge here. I'm going to take Kevin Lee inside the distance. I'm actually going to pick him via submission. I think he's going to submit Charles Oliveira here. So I think he's going to find a way at the back, and then he's going to sub this guy. So, but great fight. unbelievable fight. Really looking forward to it. But I'm taking Kevin Lee via submission.
I'm with you, bro. Absolutely exceptional fight. And that's our picks for the card.
Yep.
Now, let's go to the betting side. Will, would love to see your knowledge and thoughts on this betting lines for this card. But of course, if you have any bets yourself, give us your bets down below. Let us know who you're picking, what you're thinking. And of course, hit that subscribe button. And if you feel like it, give us a like. The likes help hugely, and we've appreciated all the likes we're getting in the late videos of late as well. So thank you very much, everyone. It's greatly appreciated. Will, so betting-wise, is there any lines that stick out to you at the moment, or any potential lines that you think if they change, it would be worth digging at?
Well, I'm going to bet Nikita Krylov. He's an underdog. He's an underdog here as well. He's plus 130 something over here in the UK, maybe plus 135, plus 130 in that range. I'm going to bet him. Like, he's one of those guys I like to bet on. I know what I'm getting with him. He probably either wins, he finishes, or he gets finished. That's why the Shearer one was kind of a weird one, because he never really goes to decision. He could get sparked in the first couple of minutes here, but I think he's got more spots to win by using his grappling and so on if he wants to use it. And he's got good, decent, dangerous striking himself. So I'm going to bet Krylov personally.
Would you do inside a distance with him?
Maybe,
or just the fight in general inside the distance.
Possibly, yeah, I think so, because we've not seen. I mean, Johnny Walker, we've not seen past the first round yet. So what's it going to be like in 2 and 3?
Yeah.
And Krylov goes for it, and like he's aggressive. So, but as an underdog, I just rather bet him straight up in that spot instead of inside the distance. But Kevin Lee is minus 125. A lot of money's coming in Charles Oliveira. I can see why, because Chucky Oliveira has been absolutely the king of violence recently, so I can see what. But I just think there's clear spots for Kevin Lee to take advantage of Charles Oliveira here. So it's only Monday right now. There's a good chance I end up betting Kevin Lee by kind of fight time Saturday. Hopefully the line comes down a little bit. If I can get minus 110, I would jump all over that.
Yeah.
So for me,
120 is good though, isn't it? 120, that's solid, is it, in its own right? Yeah,
minus 125. I've bet it at that, but I think that money will come in on Oliveira. So I will go with that. David Dvorak is an underdog, but like I said, I think that fight can end up being close, and it's in Brazil, so I'm probably going to pass that. If I had a bit of Jussier number than plus 1, I think it's plus 110 over here. If I had a Jussier plus 125, maybe it might kind of come into my thought process a little bit more. But I think I'm probably going to pass. Just sit back and watch, and hopefully the kind of tape that you watch of him outside the UFC kind of translates into the UFC. And
if it does, you're laughing.
Parlay I'm looking at is Amanda Ribas again with Enrique Barzola. So in America, he's Ribas is minus 325. Over here, you can get for like minus 260, minus 275. And you put someone like El Fuerte, you're going to juice up your parlay a little bit. So that's something I'm looking at. But like the spots, like I think Moreno's live at that. I think that what's the other one? Demian Maia. You picked Demian Maia's plus 170, and if he gets the fight to the ground, you can keep the fight there and win rounds through that. So not bad. Who else is there? Makdessi. Like I said, I've got a funny feeling that Makdessi's going to show up in that fight, but ultimately I have Trinaldo winning the fight. So I think as of right now, my bets I'm going to make is Kevin Lee, Nikita Krylov, and that parlay of Ribas and Barzola, and who knows, it might change throughout the week, but that's what I like personally.
Nice, bro. Yeah, I like some of those bets. I was thinking, like we said about the Ribas and Barzola parlay. It's a good one to look at. I like that. Again, like I said before, people, let us know what your thoughts are with the bets, if there's any of those that actually tickled your fancy, or if there's any that you're thinking about or have put down. We'd love to know. And also, give us, if you do any parlays, tell us what you got. If you want to stick out the odds there, it'd be fantastic to hear, and we love hearing the success of bets that come through for you guys. And obviously bet responsibly as always, but we love to hear you guys getting paid for listening and tuning in and putting the bets on. That's our picks for this week. Next week we've got a card in Landing Town. Fucking landed in it, yeah. Cockney, Woodley Edwards. A lot of British talent on there. You might have seen I posted 1 or 2 interviews from that fight card on there. So feel free to check them out, folks. And we'll be back next week. And again, thank you all for tuning in.